Yo, you alright, everyone? So, about a year ago, yeah, just under a year ago, so last summer, I went to Norway, and I was going to make a bunch of videos about going to Norway. I recorded a bunch of footage. I never ended up using it because my heart kind of led me to different content, and that's fine. But I wanted to make, I think, 3 videos while in Norway. Or rather about my, trip to Norway. One of them was going to be a geoguessr video where I talk about like geoguessr meta of Norway and I literally show it in person. Didn't really end up making that. It wasn't really the kind of thing that would suit my channel, even though I did make geoguessr content at the time. It wasn't like the kind of geoguessr content that I wanted to make. That's fine. The second one was a vlog. That one was kind of, passive. I would literally just like record some random shit that I did during the day and I would just like cut it all together and then upload it. I might end up fucking uploading that. Who knows? And then the last one is one that I actually thought of while I was there. And so it was a video where I thought of this idea while I was in Norway, and I was sat on the tram and I realised this tram is really nice. It's a really nice tram. And I don't know quite what makes it so nice. Because I've as a Londoner, we have some trams in London. I've been to Amsterdam, the tram's there as well. I've been on. But for some reason, this tram in Bergen is really quite nice. And I didn't quite understand why. And so I wanted to do a video where I talked about it. And I never ended up actually uploading it, but I did collate. I did have some thoughts on it and why I thought the trams in Bergen was so good, and just a few like quality of life things. So I think I've actually got it in my notes app if I put it up. But or maybe I wrote it on Google Docs. Let's see. I think I've got a note just called Bergen. Yes, okay. I also wanted to talk about like walkability. Because Bergen was a really nice and walkable place. It was like really easy to take public transport everywhere. It was intuitive, it made sense. And I wanted to talk about that for a whole video, but unfortunately I didn't, so maybe I'll talk about walkability in this video as well. The trams in Bergen are, I think, a similar gauge to the ones in London, and they're a greater gauge than those in Amsterdam. So first of all, that already gives it an advantage. It's able to be wider, it's able to be more comfortable, right? But the thing about the London ones is that they feel really cramped. And I think part of the reason is that they've made the seats wide on London Tram Link. Whereas in Bergen, the seats are more narrow. I think I haven't verified this, but based off like pure vibes, I think the seats are more narrow. But like, they fit you. They suit a human, and it's 2x2, so you can just sit on like both seats if you really wanted to. But I think the fact that they're more narrow means that there's a larger walkway, which helps the tram feel more open. I literally saw people bringing in fucking e-scooters and bikes and everything. Like, there is plenty of space within them. There's also like a few like small quality of life things that I liked in Bergen trams. In the trams of Bergen, I don't know how I'm gonna phrase in the trams of Bergen's trams. There we go. Fucking forgot about possessive words. But yeah, no. One thing I really liked was when you get to a stop, each stop, and I thought this was really cute, each stop has its own jingle. And so it'll like play like a little jingle when you get to each stop, and it'll be like, now arriving at Lufthaven. Ding 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 ding, or whatever, right? And I think that's like such a small and like frankly insignificant, well, okay, but like not too noticeable thing. but it's quite sweet, and I feel like some people would start recognizing like their house, like where their stop that they get off to get home by the jingle. And I thought that was really cool. What else? I mean, they're trams, of course, so they go on the road, and like I think they're a lot more willing to take shortcuts than I've seen in Amsterdam. Amsterdam's trams kind of, okay. Granted, I was only in Amsterdam for a fucking weekend, so I don't fully know. Based on like the 1 or 2 tram routes that I took, between the Rijksmuseum and Centraal, they didn't really take any shortcuts. That's probably because there's not really any like shortcutty bits they can go through in Amsterdam, and it's all like quite developed, so there's no like back end way. Also, don't know if their trams are particularly built for that. I feel like the Amsterdam trams are kind of, I don't think they can go as quick. I don't think it's not that they don't. I think they literally can't. I feel like they're not built to go that fast. Which also makes me kind of think a bit like, where do they fit in? Because, okay, obviously, like, it's better to get people out of cars, right? But a car can drive faster than that. And like, a bike is probably going to be quicker as well. Obviously, there's going to be people who can't drive and can't ride bikes, okay? But like, I don't quite see where that like fits in. I think it is just because Amsterdam is quite different, and obviously it's like known as the cycling capital of the fucking world, right? But I feel like if it didn't have that huge cycling culture, those trams wouldn't have quite a spot. And that is sad for me to say because I really fucking love trams. I think they're like one of the best modes of transport. But I don't quite get where they fit in that ecosystem in Amsterdam. In Bergen though, no, they were quick. Probably faster than the bus most times. They can take routes that the cars can't go on and that bikes can't go on. So it makes sense. You know, they like have their own place because they have exclusivity. And what else? You know, let's talk about the walkability as well. I'm just going to read my notes. Centre is very nice. There's also a lot of these pedestrianised spaces for shopping. It's a bit like a high street, but wider and bigger. Reminds me of Newcastle's high street or the future Oxford Street. Oh, yes. The centre bit. So, it's kind of hard to describe this without showing any footage. Maybe I'll end up making a video. Who knows? So I can actually show you lot the footage. But they have this very wide like centre, like centre with like shops on the left, shops on the right. And the thing, it's kind of like a British high street, except it was a lot wider. And on what you get in these pedestrianised areas, you tend to get like a lot of people, but like how do I describe? Like let's call them characters, right? You'll get buskers, you'll get street performers, you'll get, you know, all sorts of people just walking by and like kind of, you know, it's really nice when you have these nice big open pedestrianised areas. And I think the fact that this was so wide was really nice because I think it kind of invited more kind of these performers, and also like more crazy versions of these performers. Fucking, I forgot. I saw like some crazy show of people in masks and like costumes and all that, and just pure performing just in the middle of this high street. I thought that was well sick. Yeah, no, it did kind of remind me of Newcastle's high street. I'd been there once, and that was quite wide. It was quite nice. A lot of chains, to be fair. I think Bergen was quite similar. Had a lot of chains, which I suppose kind of makes sense because like in somewhere this built up, you don't tend to see like too many independent shops just because like rent's gonna be higher than they tend to not be able to like afford it. That's fine, because when you went down to the bottom, there was this huge area of just like an open market, just of food, and then you have like a bunch of businesses as well that kind of lead out. I thought that was quite nice because that area was walkable as well, but you had like a road that went next to it, and you just have these like restaurants with tents like outside gazebos that would back out onto the main road. But weirdly, I didn't feel like any conversation was drowned out when I was in the restaurants in those gazebos that backed out onto the road. And I think a lot of that could be because of Norway's like high EV usage. Obviously, when you think about the noise level that a car can produce, you obviously have exhaust noises, like engine noises are going to be caused by fucking combustion and all that. But you also have rolling noise, and EVs won't have engine noises because, you know, they're quite little batteries, but they will still have rolling noise. And I think I saw this quite well actually. So up the top of the high street, because there's a lot of EVs, and it was quite like a walkable bit, but there was a road that went through the middle, right? There's a road that goes through the middle, but it's still quite walkable. Obviously, a risk of this, people getting run over. Even if it's a slow road, like 5 miles an hour or whatever, you don't want people to get even, like, tapped, right? Because controversial take, but that'd be pretty bad, right? So, what do you do? Because EVs are really quiet, and their rolling noise, like, rolling noise is a noise. It's not like... It's not super loud. Sometimes, like, it can get drowned out by earphones, you know? Not even noise cancelling ones, just like normal earphones. So what do you do? Well, what they decided to do is use different, instead of asphalt, you can use cobblestone, or you can use bricks. And when cars go over these more rough surfaces, that will induce a louder noise when it goes over. And of course, with a louder noise, pedestrians are more likely to hear these quiet electric vehicles when they go past. And because Norway is so popular with their electric vehicles, it's obviously, you know, it's a concern. Like they might not be able to hear vehicles when they come by. So increasing rolling noise is kind of useful in these more walkable areas. Whereas at the bottom, as I previously mentioned, with these what do you call them? The restaurants. You know, it's a main road. It's like 2 lanes in each direction, I think. Right, it's quite big. So, you know, people, they know they're near a road. So I think you can afford it to be, you know, quite a rolling noise. And you've got these local businesses that you want to do well. So you want to keep noise level down so that, you know, businesses don't complain. So use asphalt there. And that helps keep the noise down. The restaurants can survive because, you know, they have a quieter area and conversation doesn't get drowned out by really loud cars. And I thought that was really clever design. I thought that was really cool, like using different road like paving for different areas because it suits different purposes, and also like you understand what your people have and like what challenges. It's just good engineering, man. It's just good engineering. Let's look at the rest of my notes. Getting 3 bars of signal in... Oh, yes, the world's longest bike tunnel. I wanted to make a video about that because I saw Not Just Bikes make a video about it. And I put it on in the hotel or in the Airbnb. And I put it on and my dad started watching it with me. And when Not Just Bikes just went in Bergen, my dad was like, that's in Bergen, let's go right now. And so we just went for an afternoon in the evening, and we just walked down the entirety of this bike tunnel. There's not much to see. It is literally just a bike tunnel. I was happy to see it. I think it's quite cool. But that's because I'm a little fucking urban planning nerd. But yeah, no, the thing about that is there's a few, so basically, what it is that there is a tram that goes, to the, I suppose it depends on which side, but to the side of it, right? There's a tram tunnel that goes to the side and it cuts through this, like, mountain that leads to a, hill that leads to a mountain, right? And it cuts through this hill. And obviously, you need an access tunnel to, you know, in case anything goes wrong, and also during construction, you need an access tunnel to go to the side of it. So what the brilliant people of Bergen decided is, why not make this access tunnel you know, nice and wide so that, you know, fucking ambulances and fire engines and police cars or whatever can get through. But then, why don't we also make it cyclable? And also, like, also fucking pedestrianized as well. But, like, make this so that cyclists can go through and, like, it's actually accessible to people while still serving the purpose of being an access tunnel. Because an access tunnel, it's not going to be in you. Hopefully, you never have to use it. You know what I mean? So why waste that, like, infrastructure and that money? Make it something that people can actually use. A simple but brilliant idea. They made it look really nice as well. When you're in there, it's split into quarters, and every quarter there's a rest point, and each are resemblant of the seasons of the year. So obviously you have spring, summer, autumn, winter, right? I thought that was cool. And then you have, like, this big sculpture in the middle that looks really nice, and you can kind of see it as you go, because the tunnel's a straight line. You can kind of see it as you're approaching, and it gets bigger and bigger. Well, I had some other thoughts about that tunnel as well, but I forgot. Oh, yeah, you just get people doing their fucking morning runs and, like, daily runs in there, and it's a really safe bit of the world. So you just get people leaving, like, their belongings just at the either side of the tunnel, and they go to one end and they run back. They might, like, leave their bottle there, so they take a sip and then they run and then come back, and they even leave their fucking keys and shit there. I don't think they're, like, it's phones, but, like, it's stuff. It's still stuff. Like, I particularly wouldn't even really leave my hoodie out, you know, but hey, it's nice and safe there. They leave their fucking shit out. Yeah, maybe I should make this video, because I have a lot of things to talk about, I suppose. Oh, I also saw a lot of Buckfitzes. I saw the Urban Arrow a lot in there, and I always like seeing an Urban Arrow. It's my favourite bike. It's my dream bike. I want to get an Urban Arrow one day. I want to be a Buckfitz molder. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all the thoughts I had about Bergen. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about them for a little bit. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you a lot later. Bye bye.